Hi everyone, Lori Fry here at the Tulsa Botanic Garden, and today I'm going to show you how to put orchids on a log. Here we have our log, and I decided this piece of driftwood is the one that we were going to use. And you can see that I just got my little drill. I drilled a hole through it right there. So we're going to take a piece of wire. The first thing you need to do is find a way to hang it up. Now, there's other ways you can set these out. You could just have them sitting down. You know, some of these logs already have a hole, so you don't necessarily need to drill it. You can see that there. There's several different ways that you could place your orchid on this. But for our purposes for this video, we decided that we're going to put it like this. So, this will be the back. That'll be the front. So I'm going to take a piece of wire, put it in the hole there. Do a little twist. And there's other ways you can hang this. You can use picture hangers. You don't have to use wire, but this seems to be the easiest way just to get a quick hanging for these, but you can always change it later. You don't have to stick with this. So you can see there, we just twisted it around, made a nice little loop so you can hang it on a nail size of your choice. And this probably, it doesn't weigh very much at all, so not going to be hard to hang up. So, just cut that excess off. Alright, now that we have a little hanging log, we will go to our orchid. Now, these orchids come in these little plastic pots. The roots on these orchids serve really no purpose. They actually photosynthesize like leaves, so I guess they help with food intake. But as far as actual providing nutrients for the plants, that's what the leaves do. There is nothing that really happens with the roots. They provide a little bit of water intake, but not really a lot. So what you want to do is take this foam and just kind of gently tease it off of the roots, and we just call them anchors because that's really all they do. In the wild, they anchor them up in the tops of trees in the rainforest where these grow. And this is a miniature phalaenopsis. There's the flowers. Big flowers in that one. Take off some of those ugly old leaves down in there. Guy, try to do this backwards so you can see. I can't really decide how I want to put this. I'm kind of thinking I like it just like that, because you don't want it to where it will face back towards the wall, because we've got our hanger on the back here. You want the flowers to come forward or to the sides. You don't want them to go backwards. So we'll just lay that back down and get another piece of this floral wire. And to help support it so it doesn't fall off, what I do is just take a piece of wire, and at the base of the plant, right there at the crown where the roots meet the leaves, right there, we'll just put a piece of wire across that, take it around the back, and then we'll do another little twist. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Don't have a lot of dexterity, but we will see what we can do. You can use whatever you need to get this tighter, but you want to make sure that this is pretty tight. So you can see I got the clippers in there, made a little loop, just made it pretty tight because you want that to stay on. You don't want this coming off because your orchid will just, wow, we don't want that. So we will just cut that off right there. And see, and what I want to do next is just kind of hold it up and make sure that's the exact spot. You want to keep that in, and that looks pretty good. So next we're going to get some moss, and I like to use forest moss. Sphagnum moss is really hard to find right now. Let me grab some moss. Forest moss is still a living moss. It's kind of a, you're going to see it's not going to actively grow because it has dried out, but to decide where you want your moss. I'm just going to put it right here. That'll work. And you can wet it first, or you could wet it after you get it on. But this is partly for protection of these anchor roots, and partly just for decoration. So you can put as much or as little as you want in there. Don't put it on the back because you don't want this wet moss up against your wall, but definitely have some on the front if you want. So we're going to set that on there, and then we're going to put some wire around it too. Now you can take this moss, I'll show you here in a second. You can actually hide the wire with the moss and still keep it on there, anchor it on there really nice so it doesn't fall off. Get that through here. Just be really cautious if you lay it down like I am that you don't break the leaves on the orchid. Just take it, get that off there, twist it around. Okay, and again on this, you want to make sure it's tight enough. So just stick a pencil, a pen, anything you can get in there to just give it one more good twist. That way it's nice and tight, it's not going to fall off. And then you can see, just kind of tease that moss out just a little bit to kind of cover the wire. And then we will get it wet, and that's it. Now on these orchids, the leaves, you want to either soak this once a week, or if you have a humidifier, keep a humidifier nearby. But you want to make sure that these leaves don't completely dry out. Just water them. And it just depends on how dry it is in your home, but just water these. At least mist them every other day. But on the moss, you can just get that good and wet, and it will keep the orchid pretty well for, you know. I do mine every Saturday. I just throw all of my orchids in the shower, turn the shower on for a little while in warm water. Never put cold water on. I know people suggest just putting ice in the pot, but that's a really bad idea because tropical plants, they do not like ice. So you never want to put ice on a tropical plant, even if it's just in the top of the pot, because it can actually cause some damage. So I know it's popular, but the caveat to that is these are tropical plants and they do not like ice. So anyways, there's your little orchid. There's our little hanging. Oh, trim that excess wire off on the back. Sorry you couldn't be with us for the workshop, but that's it. That's how you make those. And you'll see in the, I'll have some interesting facts about orchids and orchid care in the handout that I'll give you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, lfry@tulsabotanic.org, and I'll help you out. Thanks so much.